Hello, it is Alexa Hampton, and this is a special 52 weeks dispatch from High Point Market to London so we can speak to India, the amazing India Hicks, who I was just texting with her and told her I had to dunk my head into a pile of powder before getting on the phone with her, which I did. She sees the shine. It's a mistake. Here she comes. The one, the only, the gorgeous, the phenomenal. Hello. Yay.
I think this is working.
I think it's working too. You gorgeous creature.
Just. The reason.
You are a little frozen.
Am I?
A little.
Oh no, that's no good. We can't be frozen. Can you even hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear that gorgeous voice.
But frozen is not good.
It's not good for what you're trying to do, which if people knew what you were trying to do and that they couldn't see it properly, they'd flip out. I think you need to
And
say
what
it,
is fun is I've just seen my lovely girlfriend from Cloth Collective is on, and Cloth Collective is a beautiful new brand that's all about sustainable dyed fabrics. But this is a shit show if you can't see me properly.
Yeah, it's a shit show. You got to get out of there.
I've got to get out of here.
She was going. Yeah, you got to get into a room with better Wi-Fi.
Oh, because look, I can see it all so beautifully. Done.
It is
okay.
Your father, David Hicks's bedroom. That you're trying to show us. Somebody's telling us to sign off and come back, but you said it was spotty.
Let me try. I'm going to sign off and I'm going to come back and we'll try because it is an amazing room to look at. All right. Bye.
Okay.
Back.
So everybody who's on, don't go away. She's going off and then she's coming back. Hey from Barcelona. Oh, interior design by Nancy said yes. Shit show. Okay, I know. Doesn't everybody want to see David Hicks's bedroom? Yes, you do. Hello, Ottawa. Here she comes. Here she comes. Go live with India Hicks style. Yeah, hang with Alexa. Don't leave me yet. She's coming. And besides, we've got to talk about her. Oh, there. I can see you. You look perfect. Oh, now you're grainy.
Oh, no. No.
Damn it. All right.
But anyway. Lots of comments about you looking beautiful, Alexa. So you know what? Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to run downstairs and we're going to look at his library instead of his bedroom.
Which is one of my favorite rooms.
I know, but the bedroom's so cool.
Well, now you're clear. Ugh. Anyway, you're going to have to go to a place where we can reliably speak to you.
Okay, perfect.
Just walk with us. Don't hang up. Walk with us.
Okay, I'll walk with you.
So
okay.
I'm really excited. Look at how beautiful you are. You know, I have such feelings of like horrible envy as it pertains to you, but I'm trying to be happy about it. I'm really excited to talk to you because you have a new book. And tell me, I'm not going to tell India to stand near her Wi-Fi router. Okay, there she is in the library. Tell me about...
No, wait. Can you actually see a damn thing?
I can see the black shelves. I can see the books. And that is your grandmother's dress on the walls, is it not?
Yeah. You see, this is so boring. You know this room.
No.
I want to be upstairs in my father's bedroom. But wait, Alexa, can you see me clearly?
See very clearly.
Okay, we're going to do this room.
Do it, and then we got to talk about your book. Don't blow me off.
I'm not blowing you off. So can you see me very clearly?
Very clearly.
Is everybody happy out there?
Better.
Because we've got lots
of
both well. Woohoo! Okay, this is fantastic. And I think we need to explain to everybody, because I know you do 52 weeks of these, and I know it's a genius idea, and you get an amazing array of brilliant, erudite, very articulate people who know their shit. And I'm none of those people. I just happen to be the daughter of somebody.
Does that
who
story
was
work well for you? Do people buy that when you say that?
No, but what I was getting to was I think we have a very cool connection, which you don't have with all the other people that you've had on.
Not at all.
That I wanted to talk about a little bit, so everybody out there understands.
Yeah.
Yay, Charlotte, I can see.
Yes,
That's
the
so
Cloth
lovely that you're on.
Collective. Okay, so
Cloth Collective.
as India is referring to, when my father was in college, he did his junior year abroad at the London School of Economics, and he had one semester with a very light course load, and he went to Mr. Hicks's office and he knocked on his door, this very green lad from Indiana, and he said, Mr. Hicks, I'm a huge fan of your work. Is there any job that I could have working for you? And your father said, I'm losing my assistant in 4 weeks, so come back in a month and you'll be my assistant. And that was his first job in a decorating firm. And the Hicks, all things Hicks, have loomed large in our family ever since, in the greatest possible way. And I love you, and I love Ashley. And I'm loving seeing your mother on Instagram.
Yeah, and she's actually right next door, but there's no way I'm going to be able to pull her into here. But she would be very amused. The problem is, of course, explaining to her, Mum, I'm live with Alexa and there are other people on the call, and she'd be like, it's like witchcraft. It's, you know, for that generation, it's like strange witchcraft. I don't understand, how can Alexa be there? How are other people in on your conversation? Yeah. Anyway, I think it's always lovely when there's a family connection, but to begin with, you're always a bit suspicious, because when your parents are friends, you're like, I am not going to be friends with their kid.
Because I did not feel that way. I was like, I want to be friends with them. And also, like, we both have this experience of having these amazing fathers who, you know, we love and want to salute and you know, talk about, and then also do our own thing. It's an interesting line to hold.
It is. And also, I mean, growing up in the shadow of these great designers who really set the scene.
Yeah.
And both your dad and my dad were very individual in the way that they worked. And their work is so emulated even today. I think it's even tougher. Like, my dad was quite tricky. Like, very, very tricky. So it's even harder because, you know, one wants to kind of be honest about the relationship and the man himself. And there is, you know, I wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't had this extraordinary father who was so, he was extremely flamboyant. He was very decisive. He was extremely opinionated. Probably all
he was authoritative.
He was authoritative.
He was an expert in all that he did.
And normally magical for everybody else, but as a dad, really quite tricky. But, you know, I just know that without the combination of my mum and my dad, I wouldn't have all of the kind of the excitement for life and the passion for life. Yes.
The flip side is that we have these very, very, in our little universe of design, these very important fathers, but, you know, who we are is also very much who our mothers are, and what they bring, you know, but behind the scenes, what they're bringing to the party. Now you've gone blurry again. So what number? No, you'll come back. I feel confident. I want to know what number book this is.
This is number 3 with Rizzoli. And what I like about that is, because I'm a Virgo, so everything has to be, you know.
You're a Virgo, no wonder I love you. I'm a Taurus.
Oh,
Taurus loves Virgo.
Okay, that's so perfect. Yeah. Yeah, and we both are not afraid to say our minds. Now, wait, am I better, or am I still fuzzy?
Well, you're still a little fuzzy.
Oh, I hate that. I hate disappointing the people out there. I can see on the flipping bars. Now, let me just explain. So I am in the middle of the countryside, and that's possibly why I'm not on the island. I'm on England Island.
Yeah,
and
you're on an island.
That's exactly, and that's why it's probably a little bit fuzzy. I did like some of the comments down here. I love someone saying that they were still trying to explain the answer phone to their mother. Yes. Yeah. Can you imagine? And we were worrying about the facts, and now we've got Instagram Live, and we're chatting to each other across an ocean. So it is all very confusing. Tell me when I'm not fuzzy.
You're good. You're not fuzzy anymore.
Okay, so I just want to show that I'm in my father's library here in England. And as you can see, there's a kind of a general theme to the books behind me, which is red. And he had these covered, all of these beautiful books. He had covered in red leather. There's a word for it, and it's gone out of my mind because I've got craft, which I'm sure we all have, which is can't remember a fucking thing. That's craft.
Yeah.
But the word will come back to me in a minute. But look, he's even had his family crest put on the books there. And
the
of
logo.
course, the logo. And can you imagine the expense of the library?
I can,
in
because
red
I've looked into binding books, and
yeah. Well, that's why we just admire them from a distance. But I love the old books here. And it really is a true library that's looked at and read and loved. You can see books have been taken out by my mother. All my mother's books are stacked up here because this is a house filled with books. There is no more bookshelf space. My mother's 91. And when you get to 91 and you've read probably 2 books a week in your entire life, your house isn't big enough unless you're in Blenheim, and we're definitely not. But this, Alexa, you will appreciate, is very David Hicks, and the fact that there's a little lamp here which he's recovered with marbleized Italian wrapping paper. But look, he obviously tested it and then got bored and decided, I'm not sure.
I love that.
And of course,
that is very not Hicksian.
And of course, it's still just been left like that. My father's been dead 20 years and nobody thought, oh, why don't we fix this? No, we'll just leave it. And then this lamp doesn't even match. That lamp was obviously not the tester.
Right.
And that's like that still. And then we've got another one here where I actually know now it's to throw the light, isn't it? This one's done like this. And then on this side, of course, it's also been left as well. So I'm beginning to think it's a little bit more deliberate. Let's please don't let Ashley be watching this because he'll be cringing.
Well,
cringing
Ashley
at my
be
tour.
there doing those shades with.
Well, you should get Ashley because his house, which is literally just behind me, is very remarkable. He lives very grandly in the stable block, but it's not a stable block.
I just saw the work he did in Milan, and I'm like, I need to commission what those overdoors with the armory.
It's just incredible. It's literally incredible. When I say to him, oh my God, how do you do that? He's very blasé about it. But no, I mean, he says any idiot could do that because it's just projecting the image on. No idiot.
This idiot can do that.
Exactly. Hello. Exactly. So no, definitely
I think the two of you have something that I look for in everybody I work with. And that is, and it's a Hicks thing. It is a combination of ADD and OCD. So you want to do tons of things and you want to do it all perfectly. And I love it.
That's so right. That's so right. And it's so painful living like that. Wait, firstly, I'm loving this. Someone says they've got my new book. Oh,
my mother.
Your mum. Your mum. I love that. She's so good prompting us in. I'm coming back to the book. Thank you, Mickey, for telling me, of course, it's vellum. Red, the leather is vellum. I couldn't remember it. Thank you so much. Thank God people are here to remind us where our minds are. Someone else has got, I think, a little overexcited and would like me to say the experience and reaction during partition of India and Pakistan. I feel that's a different Instagram live conversation because that could take a while. Yeah. And I also feel that I could be heading into tricky waters there. So thank you for the question.
You are far too young.
I don't actually have any remembrance of that, but of course, actually, as I'm sitting here at the desk, we can see there is Joel. There is Nehru.
So amazing.
Right there. So actually that was rather fun. Oh, look. Actually, and there my grandpa. I'm doing this really, really badly. My children say, for God's sake, get it together. If I do this, am I cleverer? Yes, I think I'm much cleverer. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There are my grandparents.
Oh, wow.
In a lovely frame. And obviously to my mother because my grandfather signed.
Yeah, Dad and Mummy. Love it.
And there they are as Viceroy and Vicereine of India. And there's my grandfather much later on. And the fun thing here, Alexa, is that I'm obviously my father's office, and everything is literally as though he's still here. There is his book with all of his.
Look at that, Ashley with his. Oh my God.
And there's the Duke of Agabon. No, so this is my father. Oh yes, there we go. Yes, you're right. Ashley's number. He's moved, so that's all right. The Duke of Abercorn. Your dad's probably in here, actually. Let's see.
Sure he is. Christopher Gibbs, oh my
Paul
God.
Getty,
David Garage,
Jean Galitzine. Look what fun! This is so silly. We can't keep going on this. And your dad would definitely be in it.
So great. It's really. Don't we all want to know how heroes of ours live? I mean, I know it's your father; it's not your hero, But for me and for
No, and it's and the desk itself. Here we go. Look, let's get the desk itself is still so lovely and beautiful. But look, as you can see, it's got these drawers. And what's interesting is they're locked. They're locked, so we can't even get into the bloody drawers.
you can't do me that.
There's one here that we can get into, but the rest are still locked, and obviously that will remain like that.
Yeah.
And as you said, here we've got Queen Victoria and we've got Prince Albert there. And as you have pointed out, Alexa, because you know, this was my father's mother's evening dress stretched across the
Red
chimney
velvet.
Yeah, that is quite good. I'm so disappointed that we're not upstairs in his bedroom, because I was going to show you all the Hicks side, and he did these beautiful cupboards. But no, we're stuck down here. But that's okay.
You will another time. But now,
yes,
despite the fact that you're trying not to, I'd like to discuss your book.
Okay, my book.
Okay, so tell us all about it, because it's very exciting, and you're just so prolific. You know, you've always got wonderful Instagrams with your mother. You've got a podcast, and now you've come out with this book. So tell me about it.
Well, it's funny for many reasons, because Ashley was considering doing a book on tombs, you know, amazing, very thought through, beautiful book on tombs. And I was doing basically a book on Christmas crackers and birthday cakes. And thank God my mother said, darling, I will buy both books. So we're two very different siblings. And it is indeed a book on Christmas cakes, on Christmas crackers and birthday cakes, but there's a little more to it than that. And it's called An Entertaining Story. And I hope that people find it just that. And it's not a how-to, it's a how I do. Yeah. And oddly, even though it launched during a global pandemic when we are not entertaining a great deal, there's an awful lot in there that's very relevant for right now.
And it's also the nostalgia, the yearning for it. I mean, while we can't do it, we want to see it.
And what I talk about in the book predominantly is family. And I have 5 kids, and they feature heavily.
5 gorgeous kids.
Well, from a distance, if you get up close, they're pretty nice.
No.
Some of them, they can be very naughty.
And your daughter has grown up incredibly these past 6 months.
Yes, and thank God takes control of doing all the domestic stuff. She's very, very good. So the book is interesting because it's done through meal, and of course I begin obviously with the most important meal of the day, which is drinks. And again, I think that's so relevant because, you know, my God, what do we all need right now? We all need a good drink. But it is about friends and family, and about making a mealtime meaningful. And actually, during lockdown, it became very relevant for us because I would bother to really lay the table, and I would bother to encourage my kids to learn to cook, because I wasn't going to do that. And it actually, so much of the book I found during lockdown was kind of making sense for me, because it was putting the phones away, looking each other in the eye, actually getting back to the art of conversation, making the time we have together meaningful. And there's lots of fun little hints and tips in there, but there's lots of crazy stories from my mother and my grandparents.
So just a roundup of fun stories over entertaining moments, like over the dining room table. And
there are a lot of very memorable stories in there. And I've just been in Paris, which was amazing and fantastic to be there right now. And you know, we're so lucky.
Was it empty?
Empty, completely empty, and people were so grateful to find, you know, that we were there and kind of wanting to go out and explore and do things. But they're taking it very seriously in France too. It's just gone into another curfew, and everyone's going into lockdown.
Right, from like 9 to 6 every day.
Yeah, it's all bonkers again. But my grandmother, what was I saying about Paris? You can never do that to somebody over the age of 50. Now the thought pattern's completely gone. Yes. But I was just saying my grandmother. Oh, I know exactly what I was saying. My older sister came with me to Paris many years ago when I was living there, and she speaks fluent French, and she had lived in Paris herself, so she came to check on me to make sure everything was going all right. And we went to an English photographer's apartment for a drink, and I didn't know him very well, and he just said, would you like to come? And so 2 English sisters went along, and he gave us a lovely, delicious bottle of wine, and my sister said, could I use the loo? And he said, yes, that's just down the corridor. My sister went, and she came rushing back in the room, and he had disappeared off to get another bottle of wine. She said, we have to leave now. And I said, why? What have you done? She said, no, we're leaving now. And I got up, I got my coat, and we left. She had gone into what turned out to be his dressing room. And she had found a loo and had sat down and had peed all over a carpet in his dressing room. It was an unplumbed loo, waiting to go into the bathroom.
And you're telling this story on a recorded Instagram.
Not only recorded on Instagram, it's actually in the book. It's in print. It's in print in 42 different countries. The story of my sister peeing on the floor of some.
Oh, so this wasn't last week. So how old was you when this happened?
This was when I was about 20 when I was living in Paris, and I'm now 53. A long
that
time
is
ago.
The worst story. That's like a nightmare.
Yes.
I'm gonna have nightmares about that story.
Yes. No, imagine. Can you imagine? And she looked and she suddenly realized that there was pee seeping into the carpet near his beautiful embroidered slippers and everything. She said, we've got to go now.
And
I never saw him
that. I bet not.
I
like those
never
Hicks
saw
girls are insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What do your kids, okay, so you're raising your children in the Bahamas. Actually, a dear client of mine is renting one of your houses, or a house property of yours recently.
Oh, God, I hope
they've reached out to you. They're from New Orleans. They're amazing people. And anyway, so you're raising them in the Bahamas and Harbor Island. That is such a huge about face from your upbringing. So obviously, not upbringing, but you know, the location and the style of life. And it must have been, you know, with your gorgeous husband, and it must have been like I want to do something totally different than what I know choice. Like, how did you end up there?
I think it wasn't even as kind of thought out as that. You know, people have 5-year plans. I just don't. I have a 5-minute plan. I'm like, you know, boom, boom, boom. You know, it was David and I had known each other in a previous life, and we reconnected in the Bahamas. My father built a remarkable house there, like an Egyptian mausoleum, of course, as only David Hicks could. And I went up to Harbor Island, which is a neighboring island, and I reconnected with David, and reconnected in rather a biblical sense. And 4 months later,
so he was living
pregnant. Yes, he was living there, and we had rather too much fun. And 4 months later, I was pregnant. And so I think we just thought, you know what, this feels right for now. And let's just stay, and you know, I'll be pregnant here, and then we'll do something sensible, like go home. And we never did. We just stayed.
That's so cool.
And it's been a really remarkable, exceptional, extraordinary, exciting life out there, but very different and sometimes very difficult. And sometimes you feel very alone and like you are strangers in a strange land. And I think that for David and I, thank God we had each other. And we had that British sense of humor, and we had that British sensibility that we could understand each other whilst living in a, you know, Harbor Island's changed dramatically in the time that I've been there.
It was so remote back in the day, right?
It was very, very, very remote. And there were, you know, it had a very short season, and then everybody just left. And so, you know, we've been there for now 25 years, and it very much feels like home. And I feel very much part of a community. And I feel very involved in it. And actually right now, happening at this moment, is our food bank. And we feed about 3,000 people. And we started the food bank during the lockdown. And it's become a very meaningful vehicle for those who have had food insecurity during this. You know, because the Bahamas is completely tourist-based.
Yeah.
And so
then they've got clobbered with weather.
Exactly. And the threat of hurricanes and everything else. We went through, you know, the most disastrous hurricane last year. So it's been pretty tough for the Bahamas recently. So our food bank's very meaningful. Now, people are worrying because there are comments on my face. I keep trying to hold my camera
I don't know how to turn them off, but this will be saved. And when it's saved, you don't see the comments.
I'm trying to find a stand so I don't have to hold it.
It's the format.
I like the comments because then I feel that everybody's involved, and I love these to be conversations.
But it'll live on IGTV without the comments on your face, so people can see it. I apologize.
I can see someone asking very nicely, and I love that people know this, that I was a bridesmaid at Princess Diana's, and I watched the next season of The Crown, which recreates Prince Charles and Princess Diana wedding scene. Now, the only bit of inside info I do know on that is that I know The Crown, actually, even The Crown, which has this incredible budget, even they said, no, we can't actually afford to recreate the wedding day. So what they've done is they've recreated the rehearsal scenes. And I think they've done the bits of the photographs afterwards, but they couldn't do St. Paul's Cathedral. They couldn't do all the London closures. They couldn't do magical carriages. So it will be interesting to see. You know, of course, I thought The Crown was just amazing and historically, I think, very correct in its
Yeah,
details.
what does your mother think of it?
She said, "I've lived most of it. I don't need to watch it."
Okay, would it be weird for her to have to fact check it or find it poorly represented?
I think it might be. I think it might be. I think she's probably better off not watching it. But you know, I felt that those early series were so beautiful because they were shot so beautifully. It was such a romantic part of time. You know, the 70s and 80s that we're getting into are kind of like, oh,
You're right.
so who knows?
I
Yeah.
want to tell another story that you and I have in common is that you were in Harbor Island and your father came to stay with you and you have to describe your bedroom and what he said.
Oh my God, you're so good. Like you remember that.
No, because we have a repetitive story.
So also, it was kind of a meaningful moment because actually Ashley very sensibly had said to me, you know, I think Dad is dying, and he said, I think there are going to be very few occasions left, and so when my father offered to come and be flown by a client, thank God, who said that they would fly him privately. Right. Onto North Eleuthera, which is the neighboring island, and then he came across by boat. I said, of course. And so I wanted to make a particular effort for him, knowing that clearly he was coming to the end of his life. He died very young at 69 because he did like to have a drink or two. And thank God, because he wouldn't have enjoyed life anymore. He certainly wouldn't have enjoyed a global pandemic. So it was the right time for him. But he came to the island and I wanted to really impress him. And so I had cooked, which I don't do often or well. There are other things I can do. I can change a tire on a car, I can play piano, or I can watch TV, but I don't cook very well. And I made a quiche for him. And I also baked bread. I mean, I remember it was ludicrous. I'd never even cooked, and I thought I'm going to do a quiche and bread. And I made this exotic pudding. And he was so ill at the time that he could hardly eat. And so he really didn't even touch the meal. But he wanted to see my house, and I took him upstairs to see my bedroom. And I said proudly, and look at the bed that we bought from New Orleans, from Magazine Street. And he said, it looks like a bed from a bordello. And that was that.
So when I was living with my parents and I turned 16, I said I wanted to have a red bedroom. Or I think I said something as disgusting as dusty rose, which immediately it makes me think of like old lady underwear. And he let me, and I did a Liola Polonaise, and it was in red. I mean, dusty rose. And he said, it's a whorehouse. Bordello didn't pop to mind. Whorehouse did. But he also, in this moment, taught me like one of my favorite stories about your father. And it is that when he was working for him, David turned to him and said, Mark, you know when to use moiré, don't you? And my father said, no, I don't. Tell me, when do I use moiré? And your father said, never.
It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant.
So good.
Never. Well, and again, I wish I could show you outside the window here because it looks out onto the driveway and the lawn and the fields beyond. And there used to be amazing mass of daffodils that grew up out there. And my father got it into his head that daffodils were a very common shade of yellow, and that he could no longer bear to have this horrible color in front of him. So he took his Range Rover and drove all over them, squashing them flat like this so that they wouldn't grow back and offend his eye. It's so lovely to see so many friends on here. I just saw Millie de Caporal was on here waving a minute ago. This is such fun. We should just join together and just see our friends here.
This is like I know it's nighttime for you and you're not going to stay with me much longer, but wait, where are you? I'm in North Carolina.
Where are you? You're in North Carolina.
I'm in North Carolina at the Theodore Alexander showroom where I have a ton of new pieces. And it's, as you can imagine, it's really quiet because, nobody wants to come and congregate in large numbers. But I have all kinds of really good ideas about getting product in front of people during quarantine. So stay posted. Or I'll keep you.
And you know what? I think that's so essential. I keep posting about, support small businesses in whatever way we can. And also, the San Francisco Fall Show just opened yesterday and they did it online. And I just think it's brilliant. It's brilliant because just as you've said, we have to keep thinking differently, you know, particularly as designers and in the arts worlds. You know, we cannot let this thing squash us. We cannot let politics squash us. We cannot.
Or you with the food bank. It's if things are going to have to change radically, let's hope that we get a say in how they change. So I want to be in the thought process. I want to be the one thinking of things. I don't want to have to acquiesce to somebody else's bad idea. I want them to have to acquiesce to my bad idea. You know,
right. But you have no bad ideas. Yeah, no. So I think it's really important. We just keep moving forward. We keep moving forward. And that was actually one of the reasons why David and I said, let's go to Paris. You know, not. It wasn't because we wanted to be mad tourists. It was we wanted to take and have an experience. And I just said, you know, we can't let the coronavirus hold us back. We have to keep moving forward. So you're so right to be sitting in North Carolina and doing business.
I'm gonna have to quarantine the minute I get home. So I have a car picking me up with my dog will be in it. And the dog and I will go out to Long Island to spend 2 weeks alone together. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I know how to do my thing. I'm really good at it. What's up for what happens in the next year? What are you going to do about a book tour? Are you going to do lots of Instagram book tours?
Yes, I think so.
Like how can we all support you in the book and what's next?
Thank you so much. Buy the bloody thing for a start.
For sure.
That would be fantastic.
So
it's called An Entertaining Story by Rizzoli. I launched it a couple of weeks ago, and I launched it virtually because I was meant to be in Australia and Canada and US and England, you know, doing what we do, and wasn't able to do that, obviously. And so I decided just to launch it online, and that was really fun. I had so many lovely supportive people came and asked, and it was all part of a conversation, and we went through the book and everything. But it's not quite the same as being in front of everybody and chatting about it. But it's okay. Well, we can make the new world work for us in some way. I found that since the hurricane, which came through the Bahamas September last year, I found that I've got very involved with a number of disaster relief agencies and foundations where actually I'm able to do something that probably is a bit more worthwhile than maybe what I was doing before, which was, you know, I loved it. I had the most wonderful business, a lifestyle brand. I had a fantastic network.
It was amazing.
I loved it. But maybe in the past year, I've done something that maybe is a bit more lasting in helping those who were not able to help themselves for a while. And so that's actually become something that I've found that I've not only enjoyed, but I've become quite passionate about. So I'd like to take that a bit further in working with these foundations. But I don't want to sound too bloody serious.
No, but I think it would be really cool in the way that they're, you know, UN ambassadors for refugees or UN ambassadors, whatever. It would be wonderful if you could figure out, because you are such a person that we all follow and you're so accomplished and you find ways to be of use and to help people. If you could template for people, given that climate change is hitting all different places, how could you show us how to do what you do to help in our different cities when these things happen? Because you're figuring it out on the ground.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the disaster relief agency was such a sort of reactive emotional and physical journey, whereas the food bank, we've been able to do it with sustained energy week after week after week. I think for anybody out there anywhere, you know, you can just Google, look, see what, and also something that appeals to you. You know, what is it helping somebody who's not able to get what they need? Is it actually being on the ground when there's a fire going off? Is there actually just donating, you know, something as small as $10 every month for a year, you know, just so you feel that you're part of something and you're doing your bit. But also
the doing of doing your bit in a time of pandemic and figuring it out seems an incredibly worthwhile thing to be taught.
But I also recognize that I was lucky enough to be in a position to be able to do it. Not everybody's able to leave the office and run off and sit on the board of a foundation. So, you know, we've got to be practical in what we do. And I think just the only other thing I'd quickly say, because we again don't want to get too serious, is do your homework on it, on where your money's going, because a lot of these places you give your money and actually it never gets to where it's going. I work with the global empowerment mission, Jen. Google it, look it up. That they are absolutely brilliant. They're there on the front line of any disaster going on, and they are hands-on, and the money goes where it's meant to be going. Now, our Indian friend on here, I think he's Indian, is so desperate.
And he just used a very naughty word.
But he does keep asking, and the one thing I would say is that my mother has said that Nero was the most extraordinary man, because he was unbelievably cultured and incredibly erudite and very forward thinking, and I think a very great leader. But for my mother, she really found him to be a main character in her life, because he was so extraordinary. I think you have those people who walk into a room and you notice them, and he was one of them. So hopefully that has
satisfied some curiosity.
Well, a little of the curiosity from our friend out there.
Okay, so I know you told me don't go too long. So
I just said 40 minutes.
No,
I think 40 minutes is great.
I need to be contained. But what I really love about all the things that you do is that you manage to say with the book an entertaining story, and it's all about joy and fun, and books are nothing but fun, and pictures and stories, and it's joyful. And then you do find a way to also do your part and do good works. So I just love that you're always like 50-50, and neither, you feel no need to sacrifice the joy while you're doing these wonderful things, that they're completely happy cohabitants.
Well, I think, goodness, that is nice to think. Let's hope that we are able to balance it like this. I think that the world is a little bonkers right now, and we are all feeling anxious, and we are all feeling nervous, and we're wondering, particularly for you guys in America, it's a very, very stressful time, and there is no aiming off for that. And with that, I think, comes sometimes bad manners and bad behavior, and people who forget that actually we need to be a little bit more considerate with one another and a little bit more patient. And I think the world is just, and I hoped that lockdown had kind of, we all had kind of gone, whew, but actually now we're sort of unlocking. It's the tensions there again. So I just think we need to be terribly mindful of our good manners, and our patience and understanding. And also the fact of fun. We cannot let the fun go out of it, out of life. It's so important that we keep reminding ourselves we've got to find the fun somehow. And my book, which is why you so kindly invited me on, An Entertaining Story, is there's a lot of fun in that book. There are a lot of recipes. Don't panic. I didn't.
Yeah.
They don't come from me.
I will be
they come from our top
but I will
banana.
not be cooking anything.
No, but you could. No, do cook. Use the recipes. I didn't actually write the recipes. Our top banana, Claire, read the recipes, and I gather they're brilliant.
Claire has been with you for 100 million years, no?
For 100 million years, and she did the recipes, so that's fine. She's actually my boss.
Okay.
So but there are some lovely moments in the book where you too could think, hold on a minute, I don't need to have drinks always in the same place. I could actually find a new spot in my kitchen.
I like that.
Could actually go
engineer new places to have drinks.
Engineer and also to have, it's all about drinks. Wherever you are, just find a new place to have a goddamn drink. But light a candle, put on some music, invite your neighbor around. Just wow, we've got to celebrate.
Yeah,
we've got to celebrate.
And you have to create it for yourself. If you're unable
Yeah.
to go to that restaurant or go visit that friend, you've got to be vigilant. You can't get lazy about it. So I don't always wear pants, but I do set the candles.
And you have a fan here who's saying Alexa always knows how to have fun.
Well,
and
that is
so
my dear friend. She and I love each other. Looking at
well, but it's true, Alexa. I mean, every time I've heard you speak or been anywhere near you, it is fun, and that's so important, especially when we're crazy mothers, we're crazy partners, and we're crazy business people. So we've got to keep the fun in there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more fun we have, the better we'll be at whatever we're doing, for everybody.
Good. That is well.
Thank you, my love. What's up on the podcast? What's coming next with your mother? Where is the podcast? Where do we go?
Oh, actually, this is perfect. On Tuesday, this Tuesday, I'm going to sit in this room with my mother, and we're doing 3 live virtual talks. It's a series. So we do the early years, and then we're doing the Mountbatten years, and then we're doing India. So our friend who's asking all those questions, please join, because you'll hear my mother actually talking then. So instead of doing podcasts, we thought we'd do a series of 3 virtual talks. They're going to be short and snappy, and my mother will be able to answer questions.
Instagram?
It would no. It's if you go to indiahicks.com,
Okay,
my
'cause I will be
website, you'll find events. Or if you go to my Instagram, India Hicks Style, on the link there, you can join,
Okay,
and you have
perfect.
to reserve a spot and to join us.
So
But
should we do
it's going to
that?
be
I can do
quite-
that now. I should do
You
that
can do
now.
that right now. Please do
There's
that now,
no
and please
limit.
try to ask questions. There is no
Okay,
limit.
great.
No, I think it's $20 each thing, and a percentage of that goes to the food bank because that's
Oh,
important to
that's
me.
great.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
we'll be there. And our friend Liquid, I'm saying that
Yes.
wrong, Liquid Notes, he has to be
Yes.
there because he'll
Yes.
get the skinny.
Yes, he'll then hear a lot more about Nehru. Thank you. And he's saying he's going to join the conversation.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. Yes, so please join. When it's good Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Of this coming
3
week.
times. Yes, of this
And I
coming
will
week.
be in quarantine, so I am totally available to watch.
Fantastic. All right.
All right.
Brilliant.
Kisses. You are
Wonderful.
amazing. Thank you for doing this.
All right.
An
Brilliant.
entertaining story. Buying right now.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye. Bye, lovely.